So what is the deleted portion from this chapter, moving charges and magnetism? Is there any idea?
I'm not audible.
From this chapter, moving charges and magnetism. Feeling happy? So you don't need to study this portion. Yes?
Can you say it once more?
The deleted portion of the chapter, moving charges and magnetism. It is cyclotron. Okay, so cyclotron is comes under the deleted portion of this chapter. Okay. Again, here we have a concept map. What all things that we were discussed here in this chapter? Any idea? Lot of equations are there. We are starting with the Oersted experiment. So it was the basis of the magnetic effect of electric current, that is a moving charge behaves like a magnet, or a current carrying conductors behaves like a magnet, that forms the basis of the magnetic effect of electric current. And here we start this chapter by considering about the magnetic field, Oersted experiment, and what about the magnetic field, what are the characteristics of magnetic field. And we were discussed about Lorentz force. Did you remember the Lorentz force? Can you recall the Lorentz force? Anyone?
Combined force due to electric field and magnetic field.
Yes, very good. It is the combined force due to the electric field and that of the magnetic field. And what about the equation? Mathematical expression for Lorentz force? Force due to magnetic field is given by
Q into V cross B.
Q into V cross B, and force due to electric field is given by
QE.
F is equal to QE. And Lorentz force is the combined effect of these two forces. That is, F is equal to, Lorentz force is equal to QE plus Q into V cross B. Okay. Then we will discuss about velocity selector. What do you mean by velocity selector? Velocity selector.
Used to separate the charge particles.
Yes, and what is the condition? Equation for velocity selector?
V is equal to E by B.
V is equal to E by B. It is the ratio of electric field to that of the magnetic field. Okay. Then we will discuss about magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. Equations for magnetic force on a current carrying. Before that, we will discuss about charge particle moving at an angle with that of the magnetic field. So here you can see some equations regarding with that of this chapter. We are starting with motion of charge particle in magnetic field. So R is equal to, the radius R is equal to mv by bq, where m is the mass, v is the velocity, b is the magnetic field, q is the charge. mv is nothing, it is the product of mass and velocity. It is represented by p. So p by bq is equal to root of 2me by bq. And the time period t is equal to 2 pi m by bq. Velocity v is equal to bq by 2m. And pitch of the helix. Did I take the portion pitch of the helix here in this class? Pitch of the helix. Okay, all right. And we will discuss about Biot-Savart's law. Could you please state the Biot-Savart's law? Any idea about Biot-Savart's law? Actually, it is very simple. dB is proportional to I, dB is proportional to L, dB is proportional to sine theta, and the dB is inversely proportional to R square. Biot-Savart's law. If you don't remember the law, at least study the equation. Biot-Savart's equation. The rate of change of magnetic field is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor. It is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. It is also directly proportional to the angle between them, but it is inversely proportional to the square of its radius. So dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi IDL sine theta by R square. Okay. So try to recall the equations, thereby you can state the law. Okay. So dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi I dl sine theta by r square. And for a straight conductor, magnetic field B is equal to mu 0 L divided by 2 pi r. And along the axis of a circular conductor, the equation is given by B is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi 2 pi into n L a square divided by x square plus a square the whole raised to 3 by 2. Sometimes the terms may be different. Instead of a, here we are using, sometimes it is small r, x square plus r square the whole raised to 3 by 2. Okay. It is depending upon the textbook, the variables will be different. And for the center, at the center of the circular conductor, the magnetic field is given by B is equal to mu 0 L divided by 2R. And here we have Ampere's circuital law. What is the Ampere's circuital law states? It is something that is related to that of the Gauss's law in electric field. What is the Ampere's circuital law states? Ampere's circuital law.
Magnetic field along any closed path is mu
Is
0
equal
times
to mu 0 times the
current flowing through.
current passing through that conductor. Okay. And this by Ampere circuit law is valid for steady current, and for straight solenoid, magnetic field B is equal to mu 0 Ni. Toroidal solenoid, B is equal to mu 0 into Ni by 2 pi r. And one more thing that you must keep in mind, here N, capital N is represents number of turns, and small n is represents number of turns per unit length, that is capital N by L. Capital N is number of turns, small n is the number of turns per unit length. Okay. Some of them are confused that both the letters, that is capital N and the small n is representing the number of turns. It's a wrong conception. Capital N and small n both are different. Okay. So all these are some equations regarding with this chapter. I think it is better to move with problems. I think it is not clear, right? Is it clear, students? I think it's blurred image, right?
No.
Okay. A straight wire of mass 200 gram and length 1.5 meter carries a current of 2 ampere. It is suspended in mid-air by a uniform horizontal magnetic field B, as shown as in the given figure. What's the magnitude of the magnetic field? Compared to this first part physics, the second part is much easy. Because the first part is with a lot of derivations, equations and all. And in second part physics, it's much easy. A straight wire of mass 200 gram and length 1.5 meter carries a current of 2 ampere. It is suspended in mid-air by a uniform horizontal magnetic field B. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field?
Are we doing the first question?
Yes, Achyut?
Are we doing the first question?
Read it once again.
No, ma'am, which question are we doing? First one or second?
First one. So here mass is given. It is 200 gram. Length L is equal to 1.5 meter. Current I is equal to 2 ampere. Okay. So here we want to calculate the magnitude of the magnetic field. Any equation is there connecting with the magnetic field, magnitude of magnetic field B, M, I, and L? What is the equation we can use here in order to find the force acting on a conductor when it is suspended, the force acting on a conductor?
I into L cross B.
I into L cross B. F is equal to I into L cross B. This is the equation for calculating the force acting on a conductor. Since it is a cross product, we can write F is equal to ILB sine theta. Okay. And here, what is F equation for calculating F force?
mg.
Yes, F is equal to mg. Since we know that the general equation for calculating the force F is equal to ma, but here the conductor is suspending. So it is experience an acceleration due to the gravitational force of the earth. So instead of a, here we have acceleration due to gravity mg. Okay, F is equal to mg. So using this equation, first of all, you need to calculate the value of force. Then we can rearrange the equation and we can find out the magnitude of magnetic field B. So F is equal to mg. That is, here the mass is given 200 gram. Convert it into kilogram. So 200 into 10 raised to minus 3. What about the value of acceleration due to gravity?
9.8.
9.8. So 200 into 10 raised to minus 3 into 9.8.
Ma'am, why are we taking 10 raised to minus 3?
Yes, Gauri?
Why are we taking 200 into 10 raised to minus 3?
Here the mass is given in gram. What will be the answer? What about the force F? I think it is 1960 into 10 raised to minus 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. So F is equal to 1960 into 10 raised to minus 3. So here we can rearrange the equation. And what about the angle theta here? Theta. It is suspended in a mid-air by uniform horizontal magnetic field B. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field? Sin theta. Magnetic field is present if and only if they are mutually perpendicular to each other. Then what will be the angle theta here?
90.
Theta is equal to 90 degree. So sin 90 is equal to 1. Therefore, equation become F is equal to ILB. For maximum force that is exerted on a conductor, theta is equal to 90. So sin 90 is equal to 1. Then F is equal to ILB. So here we are going to rearrange the equation, which implies B is equal to F divided by IL. Force F is 1960 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by IL. Here current is given, it is 2 ampere. Length of the conductor is 1.5 meter. One nine six zero divided by 3. Dia, did you get the answer?
0.65.
0.65. Yeah. So 1960 by 3, actually we get 653.333, something like that. So here B is equal to 1960 by 3 is equal to 653.333 into 10 raised to minus 3. So B is equal to 653.33 divided by 1000, that is equal to 0.65. 0.65 Tesla. So correct answer is option B, 0.65 Tesla. So here in this question, the value of force is not given directly. We want to calculate it from the given measurements. Okay. Then question number 2. If the magnetic field is parallel to the positive y-axis and the charged particle is moving along the positive x-axis, which way would the Lorentz force be for an electron and a proton? Magnetic field is parallel to positive y-axis. Magnetic field is parallel to positive y-axis. Particle is moving along positive x-axis. Then what will be the direction of force? Lorentz force acting for the case of electron and for proton. The options are positive z-axis and negative z-axis respectively, positive y-axis and negative y-axis respectively, negative z-axis and positive z-axis respectively, positive x-axis and negative x-axis respectively. We want to calculate or we want to determine the direction of Lorentz force both for electron and for proton. Think and answer. It's a very direct question. There is one condition is there in order to apply the Lorentz force. We can apply this Lorentz force if and only if the charged particles, the direction of the current, motion, all are mutually perpendicular to each other. So then think and answer, which way would the Lorentz force be for an electron and for a proton? Here the magnetic field, the direction of the magnetic field is S, option C. Negative Z axis and positive Z axis, right? Why?
It should be perpendicular.
It should be mutually perpendicular to each other. That is the condition for the application of the Lorentz force. Actually, option C is right. We know that the Lorentz force is applicable if and only if the magnetic field, the direction of the motion of charge and that of the direction of the force, both are, all of them are mutually perpendicular to each other. So here in the given question, it is already given that the magnetic field is parallel to the positive y-axis. So the direction of the magnetic field is along positive y-axis. The direction of the charged particle is moving along the positive x-axis. So the another possible way for the direction of the Lorentz force, which is moving along the z-axis. Okay, then only we can say they are mutually perpendicular to each other. Okay, so here we have two options like that. One is option A and option C. Actually, the option B and D are wrong. Then we may be confused with these two alternatives, option A and option C. But here we need to calculate the Lorentz force which is acting for electron. Electron is a negative charge. So that force should be act along the negative Z axis. And the Lorentz force for proton, it should be along the positive Z axis. Since it is a positive charge, it is directed along the positive Z axis. It's a very simple question. You just think and answer. The Lorentz force is applicable if and only if all these three components are mutually perpendicular to each other. So here, the direction of the magnetic field and the direction of the charged particle, the motion of the charged particle is already given. So we only need to calculate the direction of the Lorentz force. Which rule we are applied here in order to find out the direction of the force? Is it by Fleming's left-hand rule or right-hand rule? Any idea? Is it by Fleming's left-hand rule or right-hand rule?
Left.
Left-hand rule. Okay. Now the third question. No need to attend. It is based on cyclotron. Try to copy down the fourth one. In a chamber, a uniform magnetic field of 6.5 Gauss is maintained. An electron is shot into the field with a speed of 4.8 into 10 raised to 6 meter per second, normal to the field. Determine the radius of the circular orbit, where the charge of the electron is given 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb and mass of the electron is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kilogram. Determine the radius of the circular orbit. Okay, now it's almost time. I will send all these questions into the group. Okay.
When is this chapter's test?
Yes, Achyut?
When is this chapter's test?
Chapters test. Okay.